What's up, healthy gamers? I am here with Epix and Kai, and we're going to be talking about Dota 2. And they are going to... Well, now my camera is stuck. So this is how much of a noob I am at Dota 2. So Epix, why don't you take it away? Tell us what we're actually going to be talking about today while I figure out this camera issue.
Yeah, sure. First of all, my name is Epic Epix. I have a YouTube channel, a Dota 2 YouTube channel. I'm a player in the community that plays in very high matchmaking level and a semi-professional, I guess, because I play in quite a few of the amateur leagues with my teammate here, Kai. What we're going to talk about today is how to lane mid based on this replay where Kai played the Huskar mid, an unconventional mid hero, versus the Shadow Fiend mid. We're going to talk about things such as pulling aggro on creeps, zoning out the opponent, and some of the tricks and tips that we use to how to lane better. Kai, you want to introduce yourself? We go over what's happening here.
Hey guys, as Epix has stated, we play Dota 2 together. We're teammates with fairly high matchmaking rating. I used to play StarCraft 2 for my school, but since Dota 2 came out, I've been devoting most of my time towards that.
Yeah, so first of all, if you guys look at the mid right now, he is blocking the creep wave. What that does is keeps the creep wave closer to your side of the map where it's safer for you because you're less susceptible to ganks under the tower. So as you saw, he let one creep go ahead. That way that creep quickly get eliminated, reducing the DPS that your wave deals, therefore pushing your wave back to your side, being more effective than purely just blocking the distance of an entire creep wave.
And since it's blocked like this, you'll notice that the enemy creeps on the dire side will be shooting uphill, and ranged heroes and as well as creeps have a, I believe, 40% chance to miss when attacking uphill.
Oh, really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. I think it's 25 miss chance. I'm not too
I'm not
sure,
sure.
but it is quite significant and it makes quite a bit of difference. And as you see, the Shadow Fiend here on this lane right now has 0 to 0 creep kills, while the Huskar has 4 and 2. And if you look at the experience bars on both hero, it makes quite a significant difference as the Huskar is almost level 3, and here he reaches level 3, while the Shadow Fiend has only level 2 experience.
Well, that is a massive difference. So in Dota 2, I'm familiar with League of Legends, so in Dota 2, you don't get experience unless you actually last hit, or is that different?
You do not get experience if you're outside of a 1,200 range. So the ranged units have about 600 attack distance, so it's about double that difference. And as you saw, Kai was harassing him outside. This is known as zoning out, so you zone him outside of the experience and then he no longer gains experience.
I see. And to give us a little bit of perspective, about on your screen, how far is that distance?
On your screen it's about let me see,
Two-thirds?
two-thirds probably.
2/3. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Alright.
and as you see here, there's a gank coming in. Unfortunately, the Shadow Demon being overly aggressive gets killed by the tower hits, and the Lina takes unnecessary amount of damage getting this kill. But this is something that's huge against the Shadow Fiend because he is a hero that gains damage while last hitting number of creeps. It's called Necro Mastery if you click on the hero, and by killing him, he loses half of the damage that he has accumulated over time. And now you see he's level 3 and the Huskar is almost level 4.
Part of the 1v1 matchup is knowing your enemy, I guess. So as you can see, the beginning why the Shadow Fiend wasn't zoning me and I was zoning the Shadow Fiend instead is because he has very weak base damage to start, whereas Huskar has a much stronger base attack, and also my Burning Spears, as said before, doesn't dry aggro. So I'm able to trade hits better than he is, and I also have more health.
Well, actually, Kai, we haven't mentioned aggro yet, I don't believe.
Right. Yeah, why don't we talk about aggro?
Alright, so aggro is just aggression. If I were to right click, say, enemy hero near in range of his creeps will automatically attack me, forcing me to take unnecessary damage. Similarly, if he does that to me, my creeps will attack him.
Yeah, and on screen, the aggro range is about the distance that these two cards are fighting right now in the middle.
Okay,
So
I
what
see.
happened?
Kai, I saw something really interesting. I saw you kind of did a stutter step, and it was like you were interrupting your spear attack until you knew it would last hit that mob. How are you doing that?
By simply pressing the stop command, it's defaulted as S. I'm able to halt my attack, and then since I will let it go only when I know for sure that I'm gonna get the last hit, granting me the gold that I get from killing the creep.
I see. So there's a cast animation, and you can actually halt that so you can make sure you last hit.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. It's a little different from hero to hero. Some hero has a huge delay after the attack. For example, the sniper, Darwin's sniper, where his initial attack comes out almost instantaneously. And interrupting myself, here you see Kai jumping on the enemy hero and instantly killing him. That is mainly because he had the ultimate before the enemy hero did. So he was actually level 6 while the Shadow Fiend was level 4. And after killing him, he's now level 7 and the Shadow Fiend is level 4. This is probably as close to a domination as you can in one of the 1v1 mid lane matchups.
I see. And now that character is coming in to try to gank you, Kai?
Yes. And like, since it's daytime, there's daytime and nighttime in this, as the clock on the top will indicate. Most heroes are given extra vision during daytime, so I was able to see him from a mile away. So,
and the interesting fact for you guys, this Dota map is placed right on the equator, so day comes at 6 a.m., night comes at 6 p.m.
That's fascinating. I didn't know there was... Okay, so now you're going to kill that shadow again.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And as you saw, because of the huge level difference, it's almost absolutely unstoppable. And he easily jumps on the Shadow Fiend and takes another kill for himself.
Sure, fantastic. So what more... let's talk... keep focused on the mid gameplay. What more do we need to know to be dominant like you are right now in mid, Kai?
First of all, you have to know your hero, know your enemy hero, what like both heroes are capable of. Say, for example, if your hero has a disadvantage against the other hero, it doesn't necessarily mean you automatically lose that matchup. You just have to play defensive, and then maybe use your spells on the creeps so you can safely secure yourself money. Whereas the enemy, he has the advantage, he'll try to zone you out, but you just have to play a bit more cautious and then try to stay in the lane and leech experience and get gold. And since the Shadow Fiend has a bottle, what he should have been doing was just using his skill, the Shadow Rays, to nuke the creeps. Since he knows he can't take me on, the least he can do is break even by securing himself creeps. Because as you can see, he's not denying at all. As indicated, he has 10 last hits and 1 deny. So like, there's no way of him stopping my farm, but the least he can do is use his mana and then spam out, get his money, because I can't stop him from farming either, as long as he nukes his creeps.
Yeah.
Because his spells do a lot of damage.
And I just want to quickly mention something that Jack, you mentioned that you were familiar with League of Legends. Kai and I actually tried a few League of Legends, and I think the main difference is the ability to actually deny your last hit. So that means for an aggressive hero, for more experienced players, there are more things that he or she could do to actually control the lane, and it makes a bigger difference in League, where killing the hero or dying to yourself would not deny yourself of any gold, where you can't deny the enemy of any last hits. So in Dota, it's actually very crucial that you know how to lane even if you are underfarmed, how to lane even if you're disadvantaged, because that's a big part of Dota, being able to still come out even though in the laning phase you are disadvantaged.
I see, and so I'm really seeing it adds a total another level of depth to the game, because you have 22 denies here, Kai, where your Shadow has 1.
Yeah.
So
when you get a deny, you don't actually deny 100% of the experience. But it denies like a considerable amount, especially to ranged heroes. Ranged heroes will get more experience denied than say a melee hero.
And I just want to mention something.
You are just dominating these guys. Right now.
When you are allowed to deny, you actually you're allowed to start attacking your own unit and deny once the unit is below 50% health. So during the early game, if you start attacking your own units while they're under 50% HP, you're actually pushing the creep wave towards your own tower, if that makes any sense. And by doing that, that's what's called keeping creep equilibrium, which is what he was doing during the mid 1 versus 1 matchup. That way the creep for the majority of the time is on his side, making it easier to zone the enemy hero outside of the experience range. Where in a game such as League of Legends, you're not allowed to attack your own creeps, so even if you're at an advantage in the lane, unless you have another opponent where it's 2-on-1 and you zone the enemy hero out, eventually you will push the wave back to his tower and he will soak up all the experience just simply from your last hitting.
Sure. Yeah, dominating those two guys again, that's awesome. And I totally see that. In League of Legends, since I'm a total noob and don't know what I'm doing, I always think like, hey, let's push up to their tower and destroy their tower. But now I see you're really at a disadvantage because they can run back to their tower, you know, to protect themselves, and now you're much further out and much more vulnerable if you're pushed up to their tower.
Yep. And the hero like Huskar is really momentum based. Like if I get that good start, as you can see, it snowballs and like everywhere, like from the top lane to the bottom lane, they all feel the effect of the snowball.
Sure. So it's, like, would Huskar be called a carry character?
He would be, but he is definitely not the conventional carry. He is easily countered by a lot of good teamwork, by a lot of disable and chaining disables. But in public games where people are less coordinated, he is definitely an effective carry, as you're seeing here.
Conventional carries usually they'll farm up in the safe lane, which is the bottom for the Radiant and top for the Dire, and they'll pretty much just like ignore team fights for the most part and farm till they have like their like strong items and come out and like destroy team fights. But Huskar is more, he can be considered a ganker and a carry, so he's able to team fight a lot earlier with the ultimate called the Life Break, which slows enemy units and takes a percentage of their health. So, and it's 50%, so it's a considerable amount. So all I have to do is ult someone, and then they'll be dropped down to half health and slowed, with almost no way of getting out unless they have outside help from a teammate.
Wow, that is very powerful.
His third...
Use it again.
Sorry. Yeah, it's got a very short cooldown, so he can just like almost spam it. Like
As you see here, jumping on the sniper, then going 1 hit, 2 hit, taking him out right there and
that's
then.
crazy. And so 50% of life no matter how much life they have.
Yep, if you
That's
hover
right.
over the spell, it'll give you kind of a brief explanation as well as what happens when you level the spell up and how it scales.
Sure. So how is that not overpowered? I'm just from a complete noob's perspective. That seems like a lot of damage in 1 hit, and they're slowed. And you jump on them.
The damage also comes onto Huskar too. As you can see, he takes 35% damage when the enemy takes 50%, and it drops down to 30% and 25% as he levels his ultimate skill.
I see, I see. Okay, so let's focus back on the mid lane. So from what I've seen here, you know, early game, you're trying to keep your creeps as close to the tower as possible. You are, you know, you're denying as much as you can. You're trying to lane or zone out your enemy so they're not getting experience from the creep skills.
Right.
Have I covered it well? Have I missed anything?
Yeah, that seems pretty much accurate. There are other things on the map. They're called runes, which Huskar is not a rune hero, so you didn't see me go for anything. What these runes are is at 0 minutes and in 2-minute intervals. They're like special power-up stones that spawn either in the top or bottom part of the map in the river. And then they grant special abilities such as they can either regenerate your full HP and full mana, or they give you double damage, or they allow you to run fast, etc. They're just special power-ups, but in the mid role, usually you want to control these runes so the enemies don't get them. But since Huskar isn't really a bottle hero, which is what the Shadow Fiend got first, he would want to control the runes because when you get a rune, it refills your bottle, so he doesn't have to go back to base to fill up his bottle and etc. And it keeps him in the battle longer.
Okay,
Because
I
the
see.
more
So it looks like now you're moving much more from a focused on killing creeps to a wandering around the map, ganking people, controlling the map. Can you talk about the kind of the team play aspect of it and when you would transition?
If you look at the map right now on the upper river where the rune usually spawns, there are two wards. These wards give vision even though the heroes are not there, just like in League of Legends. So with these wards, you can start seeing the rotation of your enemy hero. And about maybe 5 minutes ago, you saw Kai leaving the mid lane, rotating top to bottom and then back to top and around their jungle. And with these wards, you actually see that the enemy starts to rotating. So you're pretty much matching the pace of your enemy. If you're getting free farm and your enemy is not, such as the Shadow Fiend, then essentially you could stay there for 30 minutes if the enemy allowed you and absolutely dominate every single lane, right? But as you see here, that was not the case. The enemy started rotating, started to put aggression onto Kai. So when you want to rotate, when you want to start moving around, it's just like a chess game. It's based on what your opponent does.
Okay, and nice mega kill. Very nice. So, so can you explain that concept of rotating a little bit more? I'm not sure if I'm clear on how that works. When are you rotating? Why is that happening?
If your enemy is losing the lane, essentially he would want to get out of the lane and rotate with you. Rotate instead of you rotating because he is at a disadvantage. He needs to make something happen to come back from that almost. So that's what happened here when the enemy started rotating because they were losing. If you were losing, then you would want to rotate into a lane where you can get your teammates some kills, get yourself some kills, and come back from the disadvantage that you're at. So it really depends on the pace of the game. There's no set time or set situation where you have to rotate. Mostly, if we did have to have a time mark almost, I guess, that would be around 10 minutes, possibly 6 minutes at right when it turns nighttime. But usually maybe around 10 minutes when most of your team has their ultimate abilities and they become super effective while roaming.
I
Kai,
see.
do you have
So
anything to add
when
to
you
that?
say rotate, you mean you're taking your character to a different lane? Do you switch, and does that character go to your lane, or do you say have 2 versus 1 or 3 versus 2?
it depends on like the matchup, but as you saw earlier when I killed the Shadow Fiend, his ally the Chen tried to come in and like kind of support him in lane, so it'd be a 2v1 so that the Shadow Fiend could come back sort of and get back into the game. But afterwards, when the Chen left, I just killed the Shadow Fiend again, and then he just decided to give up on that lane since if all he did was come back to feed me, then it'd be much more productive if he went to the bottom lane, which I think he went right after, so he could try to farm back some of the gold and make up for lost ground.
Okay, sure. That totally makes sense. And so it looks like at this point, have you just gained so much gold and experience that you're pretty much unstoppable?
Yeah, pretty much at this point, I've snowballed. Like, if you look at the scoreboard, or you can sort your tab on the left side to hero levels, you'll see that
wow.
I am level 15, and like someone on the map is still level 5 and 6.
Right,
So-
that's crazy. That's a big discrepancy. You don't see that in League.
No, you don't. You would
Yeah.
never see that in competitive play either. But
That's the interesting thing because I think in League there's less of a skill cap in this way because there are different things built into the game that are more friendly to newer players where you wouldn't get absolutely trolled where you at least you will be able to get the creep experience, and when you die you would not lose any gold. But here with Kai constantly roaming and killing the enemy heroes, they lose gold every time. They're not able to get any experience even inside the lanes. So that's why you see that difference where it's level 16 versus a level 5.
Cool. Well, I mean, this has been a load of fun. This is kind of the first time I've really watched a Dota game, and watching you dominate, Kai, is really interesting. So thanks for this. We're gonna bring you, both of you, Epics and Kai, on talk more Dota 2. We're gonna focus on doing kind of the basics right now, just to help me learn the game. But after that, we want to focus a lot more on advanced strategies, because clearly you guys really know your stuff and you really know what you're doing. And I want to say, if you're into Dota 2, Epic's YouTube channel is fantastic. His editing is amazing. It is far and above better than what I can do, and I'm
Thank you, Jack.
I'm going to watch his videos and totally rip off your ideas. But it's your editing really is great. Your content is interesting. It's useful, very useful. So that's why I connected with you and wanted to bring you on here, because you put out high quality content. Plus, both of you guys are Asian, so that's awesome.
That helps. Yeah, just to add to that, if you guys play Dota 2, I actually do a monthly giveaway of the in-game keys that you need to buy with cash. And also on top, I do advanced Dota 2 guys for very experienced players. I show them some of the tips and tricks in the pro scene right now, different builds, as well as newer players. So, if you guys love Dota 2, come by, give me a shout out. If you have any requests, if you guys are followers of Jack, I'm sure you guys are great guys. You guys are gonna be interesting, polite, no trolls. So thank you, Jack, for this opportunity to work with you.
No, really absolutely. Thank both of you, Kai and Epics, for your time. This turned out much better than I had even hoped, because this is just so interesting. And
yeah, this game has a lot of depth. Yeah, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah, let's jump on a game and just totally move it up.
Let's do it up.
But yeah, thank you so much. I will link to Epic's channel in the description. You guys go check that out, and hit like and comment if you like this. That would be the best way to get motivate Kai and Epics to come back, is just having lots of likes and lots of comments on this video, and then we'll bring them back.
Yeah, I would really appreciate that, guys.
We'll take their secrets and everything. Thank you so much for watching. You guys really are the best viewers on YouTube, and I want to encourage you to subscribe and share this video to your friends. And remember, it's all the little steps you take every day that will determine your ultimate success in life.